Hey everyone, this is Mehwish Hayat. As usual, you're watching me on my YouTube channel, and today I'll be talking about Miss Marvel again. So you can check out my previous videos where I've talked about Miss Marvel, which is a Disney Plus original. It's a Marvel original, and it's starring some of our very renowned stars. It's got a lot of stars from India. It's got a lot of stars from all over the world, and it's directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, this recent one who she's won Oscars and she's won a lot of accolades for her work. Where she's produced a lot of documentaries. So I think this is the first time that she's creating fictional content from Pakistan, or rather about Pakistan. So this recent episode delves way more into about partition and what happened to Kamala's Nani, which is played by Mehwish Hayat as Aisha. And then we have her husband, Hassan, which is played by Fawad Khan. We finally see Fawad Khan after so long. And Mehwish and Fawad, what an interesting pairing. So I'll get more on that later, but quickly wrapping up what the episode was totally about. So a lot of the questions about partition, if you guys, anyone who's watching, who's not very comfortable or who understands partition a lot, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to do a detailed kind of video about that. But when we talk about the audience's perspective and how you want to kind of give the scale of what partition was like and how it impacted everyone, that's what this episode kind of really delves on. Again, it makes the same mistake that it says that it's mostly about Britishers trying to divide and rule. There were communal riots, and they were there for a lot of other reasons. The British did play a role, but ideally, and if you look at it from a very sort of pure perspective, there is a factor that the kind of communal violence that was there was present, and it was brewing, and it had to probably be an eventuality. I mean, partition was an eventuality because of the fact that the world was, not the same as it was 500, 600, 1,000 years ago, and the monarchies and all were not there, and you had a democratic setup, and you had majorities of different kind of nationalities. So more about that later if you guys are interested in about me talking about partition. I definitely want to talk about what this episode was particularly trying to say, because it started with independent India. It started with 15th August, didn't really talk much about 14th August, and it talked about how 15th August gave a dawn to a new India. Doesn't really talk about how 14th August kind of gives a new dawn to Pakistan, and what exactly was the struggle behind Pakistan, and why there was an issue of the Muslim League wanting a separate homeland for Muslims, though they do mention it, to be fair. And then later, again, to be fair, when you look into Aisha and Hassan's story, there is a mention of how Muslims were being persecuted, although they were good Hindus, and obviously they're good Samaritans. In every race, in every color, in every group, you do have a majoritarian sort of attitude, and then you have those good Samaritans who try to move away from the crowd or try to do the right thing and be individualistic about it. But that still, I feel, was not enough. I think that the peddling of the narrative is still there, and I think it's kind of dishonest because it doesn't really tell you why Pakistan came into being. It's not just about British wanting a separate country or wanting this India or that Pakistan, or just wanting to divide and rule. I think that the kind of Pakistan we got obviously was a lot more botched than perhaps Jinnah would have wanted, but it was still a separate homeland, which was absolutely necessary. Now let's look at what really happened in the rest of the episode in terms of what the clandestines wanted. We saw the end of the tracks for a lot of characters, and I think there's only 1 or 2 more episodes to go, so we'll probably not see a lot more of that, and that's why they're kind of tidying up the rest of the characters. The two worlds have sort of collided, and there is a lot of love and sort of closure between Kamala and her mother and her mother's mother. So I wish that, again, Kamala's mother had been played by a Pakistani. No disrespect to the actress Zenobia Shroff, who's currently playing Kamala's mother, but I think the accent is off, the way that she's dressed is off, the way that she addresses her daughter is also off. I don't think that she's very depictive of what a Pakistani mother is. Anyway, then there's it kind of ends towards another sort of tangent where Kamran comes to meet Brian back in the US, and then there's this little supermarket where they always meet. It kind of explodes because obviously the American government has now found out what Kamran is. So this is what has happened. Okay, Now let's talk about the wonderful, wonderful chemistry and the wonderful, wonderful images that I saw. Very, very moving stuff about partition. Very, very beautiful, sort of relationship with grace and dignity and love and kindness that was shown between Hassan and Aisha, and kind of also shows the humanity of the characters that were there, and also shows the humanity of the people that experienced the pain of partition. And that train station scene is kind of like pretty much depictive of how terrible it was for a lot of people. It need not have been so messy, but it was. I think that is what you can fault, but don't fault the actual reason why Pakistan was made, because again, it was an eventuality. If it wouldn't have happened in 47, probably would have happened later. Then talking about how wonderful Mehwish and Fawad look together. Great chemistry, wonderful sort of acting, and the way that they kind of just gelled perfectly together. So it was so good to see that. So Mehwish's depiction of a very elusive yet charming character or a superhero was so good. I think she carried it off beautifully. She sings so well in the series as well. And Fawad Khan, as usual, charismatic, gorgeous, brilliant. What a great actor. Why don't we see more of him? So I really hope that we see more of these two together. I really want like 100 episode drama of these two together. Actually, no, I definitely don't want 100 episodes of anything. So let's look and let's take a long hard look at how wonderful our actors are, how they deserve better, and how with a better screenplay, tighter screenplay, our actors can do so much, and they can be so impressive, and they can be so wonderful to see on screen. They've got amazing presence, but we aren't, I guess, creating the right content for them. And I really hope that this also gives a little jolt to our local creators that, hey, if you create a good script, or if you create great characters, any character and any chemistry will kind of come alive. So I really hope I get to see Fawad and Mehwish more. I really wish that Fawad had a longer track. But again, this was just as beautiful and creative in his own way. I think he comes and, he's done this in Barwa Khiladi as well. He just comes, he does this little cameo and then leaves. So I think that I hope that I get to see more of him, more of his acting chops in Nilofer. That is going to come soon. And I don't know what's happening with Maula Jat, but I really hope to see that as well. And then of course, Mehwish, who we will soon see in London Nahi Jaunga. Great acting by everyone. Iman Vellani is a star. I really hope to see her in more series as well. A lot of people are saying that Miss Marvel isn't doing well digitally, so I hope that with this kind of crescendo that it has reached, it changes the game a bit more and definitely makes the local creators think a lot harder about what we're creating and why we can't create better content. So let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and let me know if you want to talk more about partition. I'm happy to talk about it, happy to discuss more. Props to all the people involved. I wish that again the narrative had been slightly more loyal to Pakistan, but we'll take what we get for now. But then again, we will not stop asking questions and demanding some answers about it. Take care of yourself. Do like, comment, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Bye.